Welcome to Modern Homestead Alaska. I'm Jessica, and around here we're building this homestead one project at a time. Every season brings another opportunity to improve this place with our own hands, and today is one of those days. We're finishing another phase of one of the biggest projects we've taken on this summer, slowing down long enough to enjoy something on the smoker and getting everything ready to welcome another round of guests. So let's get to work. If you're new here, you might be wondering why we're putting so much time, money, and effort into gravel. The answer is simple: Alaska. For months, every winter, this entire area is buried beneath the snow. Then spring arrives, and all of that snow melts into a sheet of ice before turning into deep mud. Every trip to the barn, every armload of firewood, every guest walking up to the front door meant tracking mud into the house. We finally reached the point where we knew something had to change. So this summer, we committed to our very first major landscape project. We moved an entire woodshed, reshaped the property, brought in loads and loads of gravel, and started creating pathways that will serve this homestead for years to come. The beautiful part is that this isn't just about making things look nice. Every load of gravel makes life here a little easier. It protects the work we've already done, keeps our home cleaner, makes caring for the animals simpler, and helps this homestead function through every season Alaska throws at us. This kind of project, it isn't flashy, but it's one of the most rewarding we've ever taken on because it's building the foundation of everything that is to come next.
Where you running off with that? Where you running off my plants? Where you run off with that?
Dump it over here over the hill.
Over the hill and far away land. You know, I carried the other one over with brute strength, pure brute strength.
Yeah, and you're the one that's hurting really bad right now.
Do you need to move these two yet, or later? Or those for sure. Couple inches. Oops, what? That's my house, sir. So all the underlayment is at the elevation. I probably already mentioned that, but the elevation and the slope that it needs to go. It is moving the water away from the house. However, where we had the giant lake up here, took the most amount of base, which took the longest time for it to compact down, and it was the muddiest, and it continued. Aaron had to keep adding to get it packed down, because we built up this area the highest out of everything that we did. And it's all shot off of some laser elevation thing, and then he ran string lines and all sorts of craziness. And you can kind of see it a little bit on that gray thing on the house. So it's high up there, and it comes down to ground level, which is at our garage. Our garage sits just above where the tractor's at now. So everything is now sloping away from the house, and then it shifts direction to go towards either the lake or a low spot on the land over there.
I'll admit it, I learned a lot through this project. There was definitely a few moments where I questioned whether we were doing the right thing. Right before the wedding, this place was honestly the biggest mess. We had this rough base layer down. It was muddy. It tracked everywhere. And every time it rained, I wondered if we had made a huge mistake. Aaron kept saying, trust the process. Even our excavator friends told me the same thing. They explained that this rock would lock together over time, creating a foundation that was almost as hard as concrete. And at the time, when I stepped off to ankle-deep mud, I just couldn't see it. But after weeks of driving on it, walking across it, and now watching this final layer go down, I finally understand what they meant. The ground is solid, the water drains away, it doesn't shift under my feet anymore. Sometimes building a homestead means trusting the things you don't fully understand yet. The pretty part isn't always first, although I wish it was. Sometimes you have to build the foundation before you ever get to enjoy the beauty on top. And this time, Aaron was definitely right, and my faith was definitely tested.
Is it possible to be outside doing yard work, putting in all this gravel? It just stopped raining and it's late afternoon. And they just started getting the gravel to us anyway. I was cleaning out the coop and doing some other things, but it has been raining since yesterday. So, Aaron is now getting his meat on the grill, but I just don't know that you should be outside and not cooking at the same time, right, babe? It's the right way to do things. We've got here pit barrel, shribs, sir.
You got your piece of chicken you want to put in there?
Yeah, I'll grab it in just a second. I might wrap it in bacon. I don't like ribs. I don't like the texture of them. I don't like any of it. Never have. They're Aaron's favorite meat. So I thought out a chicken breast, just one chicken breast for me. And I might wrap it in some bacon and throw it on the smoker here. But it'll cook in about the same time that it takes to cook these ribs. It's just a breast without any of the fat. Otherwise it'll get real dried out, but I'll probably grab that out of the fridge here in a second. Man, can you believe it? Who would have thought some gray rocks without any mud and sand and dirt and fines in it would be like the key to Jessica's just pure joy today. I'm a little over the mud. Man, what it takes to like keep it clean with 2 dogs, especially a Springer that wants to run and get in the lake. He gets all wet, he brings in all of the mud. We have so many like towels and everything devoted to keeping the dogs clean so that they can come into the house, but this is literally the solution, the answer to all of my bringing in the mud problems. It is going to be just absolutely fantastic. If you noticed that there was another trailer in our yard that wasn't here before this moment, raise your hand. Because it just dawned on me, and I'm about to ask Aaron how long this trailer has even been here. This is not our trailer. I don't know whose it is, where it came from. That's not our tooler. What in the world? I bet, Aaron, how long has this trailer been here and where did it come from? Because I just now noticed that there's a trailer in our yard.
Your son brought when he brought the side-by-side back.
How long ago though?
The wedding.
So almost an entire week.
A week.
A whole week. 7 days, friends. 7 days sits a trailer in my yard that I didn't even know was here and is not ours. Oblivious. Well, I went in and grabbed my 2 chicken breasts. Were in the one Kirkland, and I just kind of folded it in half, put some seasoning on it, and wrapped it with a couple of pieces of bacon. Can you even hear me? So one of the things Aaron wanted to make sure is that it wasn't hard to walk on, because if you get too big a gravel, it really is hard to walk on. But the environmentals up here are a bit different than any place we've ever lived, and it did need to be fairly big gravel, just not so big that you're like twisting an ankle as you walk. I just look at that line. From the muddy, mucky mess to like clean gravel, the no fines, the no fines, the no fines. That is literally the most repeated statement around our house for the last several weeks as we have done this massive outdoor landscape project ourselves. So we're pretty impressed with how it is coming along. And at some point I've filmed all of it. I think we're gonna put a compilation video together at some point showing it from the beginning in the spring to wherever we make it to before fall. So we'll just continue plugging away on the yard and getting these things done. If you look from here, I wish the camera just like really did a better job of showing you the difference. All of that down and around the house to the back, then down to the lake, has to get built up with this as well, especially along the bottom of the house and protecting our like insulation, all these other things. So there's a ton yet left to do, and that I think is par for the course. We bought a shell that had been abandoned for like 6 or 7 years, something like that. Someone had framed it, no electrical plumbing, there wasn't any concrete in the basement or anything like that, but they had framed the house. Aaron came in and remodeled some of it to fit our needs, but they had just abandoned the build. That's kind of a common thing up here. You'll also see channels that show like totally abandoned like cabins and houses that they clean out and they redo. In the process of doing all that, just to kind of explain what's happening here, if you're new, welcome. None of it was done. So none of the sloping, the groundwork, moving everything away from the house, none of that was done when we got the place, and it has taken us years to get to this point. So our main focus this summer has been getting the house to drain properly, getting the site built for what is eventually going to be a shop over there, and working on kind of what is the most dangerous in the winter for me, because more than once this has turned to a sheet of ice and I have fallen on it and hit my head. And so Aaron wanted it to where it just melts away from the house, and so that's kind of the big project that the summer has been in. That's our last load for this week. We've cash flowed all of this and paid for what we can, but the use of the equipment, the excavators, everything that we did was actually free to us, and then we did all of the labor and whatnot. But the material costs, we do have to pay for that. No way around that, of course. But last load for right now, and I think it'll finish off this super muddy area right up here around the house, and then we'll get to work on the next stuff. detailed number, I think it's yards, not tons. So 30 yards is what he's put down so far. He's pretty spot on. There are some deep spots and some missing spots, and it's just gonna take some working it out. And then he went ahead and asked the guy if he can bring 10 more. So we still have this little chunk left here, up and around. And then he wanted to just kind of stick some out here to make it like a little less muddy. Like obviously we're holding water here, so something's wrong with the slope, because this is not where we want the water to be pooling, right at the beginning, the end of the driveway, the beginning of like the house parking area. Duke, what are you doing? Duke, where are you going? Where are you going? You're going down Carolyn's walkway? Carolyn's walkway?
We're gonna go with this. Jessica's been slacking running the camera, not helping with the meal here, so hopefully she's all right. Looking good.
What are your ribs doing? They folded up. Pull me a chicken off. Oh my gosh. That is perfect. I love it. And then it's not even overdone. The bacon.
It's really moist, really soft.
Yeah. That's a smoked chicken breast. I even rolled it. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
See the roll in it? So the real thin part.
Cheese in there.
You could have.
Coulda.
You want some barbecue sauce for yours?
Yeah, for the ribs. I'll let it bake on there for a little bit.
Little BBQ. You ran this hot today.
Huh?
You ran the smoker hot.
Why? What are you saying?
Normally you run it real
I
low.
don't know. I'm hungry. But see how the bones are starting to all show?
Yeah.
So pull them back, they're all cooking.
Good thing that whole rack is yours.
I know, it's so delicious.
Kids are out of town. Wedding's over. No one's here.
Beautiful.
We fed them like ready-made Costco food, and this is for you. They're never gonna believe we cook like this. It's rained so much, and having guests for the last week, I haven't been able to fertilize any of the flowers, and it's probably about time. So while Erin is still working on all of the gravel, and we're getting ready for guests to come literally this week, I am gonna go through and do anything that is flowering. I was able to get the tomatoes fertilized inside of the greenhouse, but really quick, I'm just gonna go through and do anything that's flowering out here in the yard. It is all looking amazing, and I would love to do a garden tour this week. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you won't miss that. I want to get everything kind of tidied up and take you guys along, but for right now, we'll go ahead and water some flowers.
Dinner turned out fantastic. I paired my smoked chicken with my friend's blueberry bourbon barbecue sauce, and it was the perfect way to end a long day. By the next day, Erin had the yard completely wrapped up, the new gravel had transformed the whole place, and everything was finally starting to come together. But before we finish getting the house ready for our next guest, I have to take you back. One of my biggest homestead mistakes so far. Just hours before our first guest arrived for our son's wedding, I ripped out half of our flooring in our kitchen and immediately realized what I'd done. Let's take a look. Well, here I am, totally unplanned of filming today, no makeup. My hair is clean, but I threw it in a pony because I was going to just clean today and get everything ready because we're about 12 hours out from our first guest and about 24 hours before I host a dinner in this kitchen. And I have ripped out all of my flooring. So Erin and he is going to help me get this fixed. We had some leakage and some stuff get under here, and as you saw, I pulled up all of the flooring, and then we had a plastic layer underneath. I pulled the plastic, I bleached the floor. There's like some kills and stuff on it from previous, and now I have a fan running behind you, drying everything out in hopes that we can have this fixed before everyone shows up. And I kid you not, couldn't have been worse timing. So well, I was out at the off-grid cabin this morning, so if you notice, 2 videos, same outfit. It's the same day. While I ran and did that, both Erin and I left the house at like 7 this morning. He went to Lowe's and got replacement flooring. And while I finished cleaning, getting everything done, I was coming home. The one spot that we found that had mold, and there was actual mold, so all of this is like horrible timing, but great that we did it. The plastic didn't go all the way that way because we just ran out of it when Cody and I did these floors years ago. And so I bleached and killed all of the mold, and then he sanded it out of the subflooring. So now we have white plastic or clear plastic down. And thank God we did, because what I was doing to the floors, yes, it would have dried out if the subflooring was there, but it would have gone into the subflooring, and our subflooring is still in excellent condition. Ultimately, someday we would love to have like real wood floors, and so we're trying to protect the foundation of the house. This is a little bit cheaper. Like, it's not cheaper now, is it? It was cheaper at the time. COVID, hello COVID and building materials. It was cheaper than doing the LifeProof flooring at Home Depot, which I do prefer. I'm not giving a shout out to this product. I'm not recommending it. It has been horrible. However, it would cost about $5,000 for us to do the whole area over. And so we just needed to go with what was here. I needed a fine dry flooring, and I needed to get it in. So that's the process and where we're at. Erin went ahead and got started, ran to town, did all of that so I could film and run to the cabin, have all that ready for my mom. I'm not gonna see her today, I'm gonna see her tomorrow. And yeah, so I'm gonna start cutting the plastic, and I have some seam tape. I'll see if we can seam it together really well so that it flows. And I'm sure he did, because I can tell he brought in the big shop vac. He vacuumed all of it. I think that's the biggest tip on flooring like this, is keeping all the little crumbs out of it. Helps keep it from kind of not sealing properly. How many boxes did you end up having to get, babe?
15.
How many?
15.
15. Jeez.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I made a mistake on top of a mistake on top of a mistake, and then the worst timing I could have come up with. So, anyway.
All right, we're just gonna start right here. And we'll work our way back towards the cabinet. So
Cut the plastic off.
the plastic here.
Okay, perfect. I can get going there. So there's the first new piece to the old piece, and Erin's seeing if it ties in properly.
I gotta ruin it. No, I'm not gonna ruin a good piece. I'm just gonna cut a chunk of crap. Then we're gonna make it again.
Nice. You just got one little chunk left to put in?
What is that?
Well, I just got home. I told you guys early in the video that there was a dinner that I was part of, and it was supposed to be here. I had to move it. It was with Cody and her girlfriends, and Erin and Caleb stayed and finished the floor for me. They are tacking in one last little piece in that chunk, and I am so beyond mind blown that he got this done, that I did this to him, and I went to dinner with the girls in the middle of all of it, and he stayed home and finished it. So I couldn't be more blessed or more grateful for this man and my son. And I couldn't be more sorry, honestly. My OCD, ADHD got the better of me yesterday, and Erin fixed this. And so now I have one day to completely clean this house and get it ready before the guests that are staying here at the house. So someone, my mom is already here, and then the rest of the guests get here in about 24 hours. I have one day to get everything cleaned and put back. Rattly pretty good. Mm-hmm. Looking back now, I can finally laugh about it in a real way. But in the moment, I was absolutely sick. I had created a huge mess just hours before our guests were due to arrive. Thankfully, I have the most incredible husband and son. Instead of getting frustrated, they jumped in, figured it out, and put everything back together. If you walk through the house today, you'd never known that I'd ripped out half of the flooring. It's moments like these that remind me just how blessed I am. Now that this little adventure is behind us, it's time to shift gears once again and get the house ready for the next round of guests. And around here, there's always another project waiting. Well, it has been a long week getting everything put back together after all of our guests left from my son's wedding, and now getting everything ready for the next set of guests, which will be here in just a couple of days. I have taken the time to go ahead and wash all of the bedding, every single towel, every single blanket, the whole 9 yards. And now I'm putting away and getting ready to clean and take in Aaron's suit, as well as my dress. So you never know when an occasion might come up that you need something beautiful for, and it is best to have it ready to go. I do only have very little dress clothes, very few dresses. If it's not something I've worn in the last year, I tend to get away from it or get rid of it, give it away, do something. But I do like to keep a couple things that fit my current body. I've got to get his tie clean because he wears beard oils and they kind of get on his tie right underneath his neck. So I'll put it in there with the dress shirt, which they will clean and starch and have pressed and ready to go. And this is all tailored for Aaron to fit him exactly. This isn't rental. The boys and everyone at the wedding wore tuxes, but Aaron, being the father of the groom, he just wore a suit that's been tailored to fit him. As did Destiny's dad. He had his tailored suit on as well. Just make sure he didn't put anything in the pocket. Right. It's best if you have an event like this. The sooner you get them cleaned afterwards, the better chance of any stains or oils or smells or anything like that they have of getting everything out. So I do try very quickly to get things in. I've also had to wash all of the linens. We ended up buying everything for the wedding, and the reason is a 10-pack of these heavy duty, really nice, same quality that you could rent tablecloths. To buy them was about $60, $60 to $70, costing between $6 and $7 a tablecloth. For us to rent them from the venue would have cost about $400 for one set of tablecloths to cover everything. So I spent less than half of a one-time rental owning and purchasing them. I, of course, could sell them, but they're in very neutral colors, ivory, taupe, and black. And I can definitely reuse these for any other events that we do, such as showers or gatherings and those sort of things. And then I also have a bunch of the table laces that ran down the centerpieces, as well as the black tablecloths. We use those both
days. Even though the rehearsal and the wedding had totally different looks, we were able to use certain things like bring home and wash the napkins and then reuse them. And that worked out really, really beautifully. So I'm going to take these to the basement. I was honestly blown away when my kids told me an entire generation isn't really using sheets the way that they were intended anymore. Around here, although we still make the beds the old-fashioned way, especially when we're getting ready for guests, one of my favorite tips actually came from many of you watching in Europe. You suggested putting the wool blanket underneath the fitted sheet, and we've done it ever since. Wool is an amazing natural fiber. It helps regulate temperature, keeping you warmer when it's cold, while also helping release excess heat if you get too warm. It also naturally resists odors because the wool fiber moves moisture away from the body, making it much harder for the odor-causing bacteria to grow. It's one of those old ideas that has stood the test of time. Next comes the fitted sheet and then our top sheet. We always put the printed side facing down. It might sound backwards, but when you fold the sheet over with the comforter at the top of the bed, the pretty side of what you actually see is what is now facing up. It's small details, but I think it makes the bed feel finished. Then we start layering. There's always at least one blanket, sometimes several in the wintertime here in Alaska, and usually a soft, fuzzy blanket before the comforter goes on. I also love keeping throw blankets around the room. They make the space feel, cozy, but they're used, not just looked at. I also swap out decorative pillows with the seasons just to freshen things up. But honestly, our bedding isn't fancy. Most of it comes from Walmart or Target, and that's perfectly fine. A beautiful guest room doesn't have to be expensive. If it's clean, comfortable, and welcoming, you've already done the most important part. And really, the greatest thing about this home has to offer is not the bedding. It's walking out to the lake. It's so calming in the morning to wake up to these views. Sometimes on the clear days, you can see the snow-covered mountains when the skies are clear, and hearing absolutely nothing, that quiet, that peace, and that little bit of this homestead here in Alaska, that is what we truly hope every guest remembers. As I finish getting everything ready, I can't help but smile at how far this little homestead has come. We only started building this home a few years ago, and in so many ways, we're still building it. Every season brings another project, another drama, another chapter. But somewhere along the way, I realized a home isn't finished because the projects are done. It's finished every time the people you love walk through the front door. This season looks a little bit different. The kids are grown, they're building lives and families of their own, and that is exactly what we hoped for all of these years. Yet somehow, when they come home, it still feels like everything is exactly as it should be. I hope everyone who stays here feels more than just a clean room or a comfortable bed. I hope they feel welcomed, they find a little rest, and maybe even leave a little more refreshed than when they arrived. Because long after the gravel settles, the flowers fade, and every project gets checked off the list, what really matters is the life that's lived here. This house is still becoming a home, one memory, one meal, one gathering at a time, and I think that's my favorite part of all. Well, I was just going to show you, it finally is starting to, it's real overcast. It is starting to let up. It has rained and rained and rained and rained. But as you saw, I got this bedroom done. Everything is ready. This is my favorite view in the entire house. And the bathroom's all clean up here.
put it all back. Da, 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 da. The office and the family room. Oh my gosh. During the wedding, I came up here. There were like 4 grown dudes, our boys, and their friends, and so on, sleeping up here. One was on the futon in the office here. There's one sleeping there. Oh my goodness. So I was telling you guys a story about the futon on my way down to show you that we got everything back in order. But I was telling you, I woke up in the morning, I asked my nephew, I said, well, when I went to bed, you were sleeping on that futon. He goes, I know. And then Wyatt crawled in, so I went downstairs on the couch. So Wyatt and all the big boys had shown up here in the middle of the night during wedding week. And so my nephew was like, I'm not going to share with Wyatt. So there you have it. Wyatt is out of town, so we will have guests staying in his bedroom. This is that room that you saw put together really quick with my favorite view. I love the garden and the cow and all of that fun stuff. So we got that done, and then I had the camera off. Everything's vacuumed, everything's wiped. This is Caleb's room. It pretty much is a guest room. Him and Destiny have had a house for quite a while, so we'll have guests in here as well. I cannot believe it, you guys. It has been exhausting to deal with all of it, but above and beyond the exhaustion of cleaning everything, organizing it, and then having to do everything for the next set of guests, above and beyond that, my family had the best time together. And the friends that are coming, we are going on a dream fishing trip, someplace Aaron and I have never been. I'm going to take you along. Here's what I'm working on right now. I got everything cleaned, and I went to Target and grabbed a couple more of those totes, and I will be able to have everything kind of organized. So here's some like lights and stuff from the wedding, some pampas grass that didn't get used, lots of different things, and there's stuff sitting in the garage too from all that. Duke Marie, what are you doing on the couch? I just told you get off of there. Get down. Duke. Oh my goodness. He was trapped outside because he is soaking wet in the rain. This is the one thing I did want to show you. Genius. We call that the dog towels. It is a basket that we keep by the door. And then I can dry the Springer off. Layla is an Alaska Malamute. She's not a Husky, she's a Malamute. She is a monster of a dog, but she doesn't really care to get like in the lake and stuff, but she'll get wet in the rain. But I have to dry him every single time that I let him in the house. So I don't want him on the couch and the furniture because he's still just a little bit damp. But anyway, we're all ready for our next set of guests. We got so much done out there, and then Aaron even squared it off. Like, it looks so, I don't want to go out there because it's raining again. He squared it off, and a huge chunk of that is now done. And that is fantastic. I can't wait to have the front porch back onto the house and a whole bunch of other things. And then we're gonna continue on with the yard and the landscape. And that is so exciting. So, I think that's it. I think that's all I have to share. I'm gonna get over here and start organizing the last of these wedding things and get those in the basement so that I have those for later. And that's it. There we go. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of the channel. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, you'll get notifications. You won't miss anything that we're doing on this channel. And I hope you choose to join us later. So I hope that you are blessed. I hope you have an incredible week ahead of you and that you enjoy some time with friends or family, a guest, you go visit someone, whatever the case is. I hope that you have such a beautiful week ahead of you. And with that, I hope to see you soon. Bye.